and welcome to Wrong Way. And today we'll discuss all the EUC related words, so to speak, a EUC dictionary. So let me tell you more about it. Wrong Way. Okay, so here I'm holding all my EUC related words in my dictionary. We'll go from A to Z. If you're just starting out, you'll probably need those words at some point. So this is why I'm recording this video, and in the description you'll see a list of all these words. So let's start with A, and there we have app, for example, like DarknessBot or EUC World or standard apps you will see in your electric unicycle, which you use for tracking your distance, speed, setting your EUC up, etc. Then we have amps, so this is the power you will get from your electric unicycle. It's most oftentimes used in those apps. For example, 100 amps, 150. The more amps, the more power. Then we have alarms, and there's different sorts of alarms in electric unicycles. Most notably, you can set up your own speed alarms in an app like DarknessBot or EUC World, so that the EUC starts beeping when you're going fast. Now, for example, in GotWay wheels, you also have two types of alarms. The one is for speed as set, and the second one is the overpowered alarm. So the wheel will start beeping constantly in quick beeps in succession, meaning that you are using more than 80% of power. How does it sound like? Like this. So if you hear this beep, you are getting on the edge. Maybe you can go a bit faster, but not by much. On the Veteran, it's a 70% alarm, and on King Song, you also have a overpowered alarm. And on King Songs and InMotion wheels, they also tell you what's happening. For example, overpowered, or danger, please slow down. Hopefully my impressions are correct. So at any time when something important happens to the wheel, you will be alarmed. The next thing is axle shims, particularly in GotWay wheels, and I think in the Veteran as well. There's shims in the L hangers. L hangers will be a word, but we have to go to L still, which hold the axle in place. From time to time, especially in bigger wheels like the Monster, if the wheel has some sort of loose spot, like it would click when it goes back and forth, this means that you need to tighten the axle shims or change them out for new ones. There is a good video by Marty Bach, Electric Unicycles channel on YouTube, which shows this process. We're through with A, now it's B. B stands for Begode, the new company name of GotWay, so now it's Begode. B is also beeper, so each wheel comes equipped with a beeper, like you heard just recently on the GotWay. Some are louder, some are quieter, but pretty much all wheels have a beeper. BLDC is the type of motor you have in all wheels. B also stands for bearings. Naturally, all the motors have bearings inside. And B also stands for battery, and the battery gives you the range and power and everything. Probably you know the word battery. B also stands for bumper, like this one. Bumpers are protective elements, accessories for EUCs. If you want to protect your EUC a bit more and you want to jump on it, a bumper, front bumper or rear bumper as well, it will just save your EUC. We are through with B, now it's time for C. And C stands for cutoff. So if you're going too fast and you still accelerate, the wheel will not have enough power to keep on spinning, and it will just shut off, and you will probably most likely fall. A cutoff can also occur if you accelerate too hard. I have a whole video about cutoff, so feel free to check out the link here to see this video about cutoff. C also stands for charging the wheel, obviously fast or slow. A chamber, so all of the suspension wheels have a positive chamber, but the S18 and the V11 also have a negative chamber. And through pumping up each of these chambers, you can get a better setup of the suspension, which is more suited towards your needs. The EX doesn't have a negative chamber. C also stands for cover, like a roll.nz cover or a standard InMotion cover, which you can just put on the wheel to protect it from scratches. C also stands for clearance. So for example, on the MSX you have a pretty high clearance, and on the GotWay Tesla you don't have such a high clearance. So the MSX is better for off-road use. Now we move on to D. we have here dipping pedals, or pedal dipping. This is a natural phenomena of GotWay wheels. If you make a turn, for example to the right, which is a bit longer, then the EUC will tilt forwards on this turn. This is also a problem in the first software versions of the Veteran, and pretty much all the wheels have a bit of pedal dipping on turns. The pedal dipping can also occur on bumps in quick succession, especially on GotWay wheels, especially the ones with bigger wheel diameters. And pedal dipping can also occur if you accelerate hard, for example, in a softer or medium mode of your EUC, or on the Veteran. It will just lean forwards. On D we have also 3D printed accessories, like for example this front bumper, and this is from a softer material. And here we have on the sides fly pads by Hulay Market, which are actually from a harder material. There are also 3D bumpers. A lot of stuff is made for EUCs with 3D materials because you can just design stuff so easily and print it so easily as well. Then we come to E, which stands for EUC, but probably you know that by now, and EWheel. Cheers, Mickey. We move on to F, which stands for footplates, like for example these ones, NyloNove Footplates, or other footplates. Others also call footplates pedals. F stands also for Freespin, and to show you the purpose of a Freespin, I'll put my phone down, I will turn on the wheel, I will connect the wheel to the app. So now, if I will lift the wheel, this is the Freespin. So the top speed of the wheel, that is when it's just spinning in the air, 72 kilometers an hour. Usually, the top speed that you can reach on the unicycle is around 10 to 15 kilometers an hour less than the Freespin speed. So if it was 72 here, probably with this charge, which is 72%, you would reach a top speed of 55 kilometers an hour. But better safe than sorry, and keep it maybe 20 kilometers an hour below the Freespin speed. Different wheels show you a different Freespin speed. The higher the Freespin, the higher it can go. For example, on the Sherman, it's around 104 kilometers an hour. Then we move on to G, which stands for Gyroscope, which basically controls the electric unicycle. And G also stands for Griptape. Now, for example, let me show you. Here on the Tesla, it comes with a pretty stock Griptape, and stock Griptape is not that good. Then you can exchange it for example, Griptape by Vicious Griptape. Or for example, if you buy a Veteran, it also comes with pretty good Griptape. But in my opinion, Griptape is never as good as a good set of pins, especially in bad weather. Now we move on to H, which stands for Hill Climb. Oh yes, I love climbing hills. High Speed and High Torque, which stands for different versions of wheels by Begode. Mainly the RS19 or the GotWay MSP come in different motor variations. They're also called C30 and C38. The high-speed version is obviously faster, but also has a lot of torque. The high torque version is the king of the hill, the king of the torque, hill climbing, etc. Most important thing to note here is that you can select which variant you want to choose. I would always choose high speed. H also stands for hollow motor, which is the new design that came in this year to different wheels, for example the V11, the GotWay EX, the Monster Pro, the RS19, which have now a bit of a problem with bearings in suboptimal conditions, but hopefully these issues will be resolved soon. I heard that InMotion already came out with a compelling solution. Now we move on to I, which stands for InMotion, one of the three, now four main companies in the EUC world, and I also stands for inches. Now you probably know inches, but mainly we measure the size of the tire or the whole wheel in inches. But fun fact here, for example, the MSX is a 19-inch wheel, but the rim size is 14 inches. So remember, if you want to buy a tire for an electric unicycle, which is primarily destined for motorcycles, for example, or e-bikes, you will need to buy a 14-inch tire. I just didn't find anything that starts with J. K stands for King Song Yeah, I don't have any King Song here. One of also the biggest EUC companies. And Kickstand. For example, the InMotion V11 has a kickstand in the rear, so you can just leave the EUC standing somewhere without the need of leaning it against the wall. You can also get 3D bumpers with a kickstand for other wheels. L stands for L hangers, which is the main structure that you stand on electric unicycles. So the L hangers, you can see them actually here outside. They stick out here, they go up inside the unicycle, and they also connect to the axle and the motor. You're not standing on the shell, you're standing on the L hangers. You can also get lift kits for different wheels, for example by EUCU, to make the clearance higher, but this is also a different story. L also stands for LEDs, like for example the shiny LEDs you have here in the front on the MSX, for lights, front and rear. Lift sensor, which is for example here on the Tesla. So if you want to go upstairs somewhere, you just grip it here, there's a lift sensor, and then it won't spin. If you wouldn't press the lift sensor, this is what would happen. The motor would just start spinning. Now we move on to M, which stands for motherboard, the main component which delivers the power to your electric unicycle, and Mudguard, like for example this one, for the veteran Sherman. N stands for NyloNove, my favorite footplates in this world. Made a couple of videos on the NyloNove or the NyloNove STAS. I just talk about them so much because I like them so much. With adjustable paddle angle. And also stands for a really popular EUC company which doesn't innovate that much anymore, NyloNove. Famous for the Z10 and beginner unicycles like the 1S2 and E Plus and whatnot, C Plus. Then we move on to O, and there are 3 words that start with over. Over leaning, so if you lean too much and the electric unicycle cuts off, especially in smaller unicycles like for example the M103 or a InMotion V5F. O stands also for overpower. If you just overpower the wheel, it doesn't have enough power and then probably will warn you. If you overpower it enough, it will cut off. And O stands also for the place I want to visit someday, my favorite holiday destination, Overheat Hill. Cheers, Marty. Where Marty, the legendary, tests EUCs. If they make it up the hill, many EUCs don't make it up the hill and they just fry, or the motherboard blows or something else. For example, like the Nikola at first, or other wheels that died during the test. Especially first versions of the wheels sometimes don't make it up the hill, but upgraded ones then do. Cheers, Marty. Thanks for your input into the EUC community. O also stands for off-road, a thing that is really enjoyable on EUCs and a thing that is definitely worth trying when you do have an EUC. P stands for power. Yeah, power. P stands for pads, and there are different sorts of pads, like for example these just yoga pads I put on the MSX. There are also fly pads like these by Hulai Market, so if you put your foot down here, you get better leverage on the EUC, and you can also jump with them by lifting up the wheel. There are also Clark pads, power pads, jump pads, Kuji pads. Pads are an essential part of electric unicycles, but mostly they increase your leverage on the wheel and performance and jumping possibilities. P also stands for protectors, shin guards, knee guards, protective jackets, helmets with chin guards, full face helmets. P also stands for PSI, which is the pressure in your wheel, but you can also measure it in bars or megapascals or something pascal. No, you just measure it in bars or PSI. Usually the correct pressure is written on the tire, but I also most oftentimes have it a little lower than what's written on the tire. P also stands for ports. So all of the unicycles have different charge ports. Mainly they vary across companies and the voltages of the unicycles. So for example, most 84 volt GotWays have a GX16-4 port. All of the 100 volt wheels currently available have the GX16-5 port, like the Veteran or the 100 volt wheels by Begode or GotWay. King Songs have the Lenovo port as a charge port, and InMotion have the Lenovo port as well. And some other InMotion wheels also have the GX16-3 port, especially the smaller ones. Wheels also usually have a USB port as well, which is a 5-volt output. Q stands for quality, something a lot of EUC companies forgot about this year, except for Veteran. R stands for roll bar, like the one here on the Veteran, or the newly invented what was it? U-cage? No. U-roll? How was it by U-stride? U-bar? U-bar? U-rail. Yeah, the U-rail, which is a roll bar that protects the shell of the electric unicycle from damage. R stands also for rim and ride mode. So on each unicycle you can select mostly across 3 different ride modes: soft, medium and hard. The difference is if you, for example, accelerate hard in soft mode, then the unicycle will lean a bit forwards to assist you with that, and it feels a bit more wobbly. The hard mode just makes the unicycle stay stiff in this mode. I usually ride in hard mode. S stands for shell. Every electric unicycle has mostly a plastic shell around the wheel. S stands for stand, like for example this beautiful flower pot stand, but you can also make a stand out of a 3D printer, or you can buy stands or make yourself one out of wood. Would you do that? I would. S stands also for speakers. EUCs have speakers. And seated riding. So for the ones that do not know about it yet, you can buy seats for electric unicycles, stock seats for the MSX or for example the Veteran, and then you can just ride it seated. S also stands for suspension. Last but not least, we have a lot of words for S. We have also seal and silicone. And you know, if a wheel is well sealed, then you can easily ride it in rain. And if it's not well sealed, you'll use silicone to seal it better. T stands for tilt back. And in King Song and InMotion wheels, you can't actually turn it off. So for example, if the top speed of a wheel is 30 kilometers an hour, then if you reach that speed, the pedals will tilt up. Where your toes are, it will go up. And this will throw your body back and make you brake. It is a preventative measure. When you reach your top speed, you will then slow down. You can set it up also in DarknessBot or EUC World, but GotWay and Veteran wheels are unique because they can turn off tilt back. So then you just listen to the wheel if it's overpowered or not, and this is a bit easier for reaching top speed and reaching higher speeds than wheels that have the tilt back on. T stands for trolley handle, like this one, or like this one, or like this one. Trolley handles are used to trolley or push the wheel around in a store. T stands for tire. Obviously you know about it, but there are also different threads you can get on the wheel, especially on wheels that have a bit of more clearance in the inner shell. You can also put off-road tires on the wheel, like for example on the Veteran. Look at this thread. T also stands for transport mode, and now GotWay wheels, I think InMotion as well, and King Songs, all the wheels, and the Veteran as well, come in a state that makes riding not possible. Why? If the wheel would turn on in a package by some reason, this would lead to a lot of damage. So the wheels now ship in transport mode. For example, in GotWays, turn the wheel on and hold the button and press the lift sensor 5 times to turn it off. In InMotion wheels, you just have to go to the app, as well as in King Song wheels. In the Veteran, you just need to connect it to a charger. You can also always turn on transport mode if you want to ship the wheel somewhere else. U stands for Unicycle, the grandfather of EUCs. V stands for V-shaped pedals. So if you have like a bit flat shaped pedals, then it looks like this. Basically, if you stand on the unicycle, this is a very comfortable position, and yeah, it's good for longer rides. But if you want to do a bit more crazy stuff, then you have these V-shaped pedals, and they actually push your leg towards the unicycle, so you have more grip. It's better for sharper turns, and it's a unique feature of the NyloNove STAS. By the way, I don't get commission for it. Why do I do it? I just love them. V also stands for Veteran, but actually the company is called Lee Park Kim. fun fact. V also stands for volts. So most of the wheels now on the market are 84 volt, like the MSX, like the V11, like the King Song S18, like most other wheels, but the highest performance wheels are 100 volt wheels, like the Veteran, like the RS, and Nikola 100 volt, etc, etc. So the voltage of the battery is, for example, 100 volt. If it's full, goes down to 70 something when it is drained. So the higher the voltage, the higher your battery charge, the faster you can go. The lower the voltage, the less range you have left and less performance as well. Another fun fact is that the voltage of the wheel, like for example, you say that the MSX is 84 volt, this is the max charge of the wheel. So this is not the nominal voltage like most other companies do. For example, scooters say it's this scooter, for example, this is a 48 volt scooter, but the peak voltage is 54.6. So EUCs just use the maximum voltage to distinguish each model and specifications of the wheel. You can also just say it is a 20S or 24S battery pack. So 20 or 24 batteries in series. Then we have W, and we have a lot of words for W. Water.
Wrong way.
Oh yeah, we have wrong way. We have waterproof and water resistant. No wheel is really waterproof, but InMotion wheels have a IP rating, so they're water resistant. And most of the new GotWays also have a seal around the wheel, so they're also mostly water resistant. The fun thing about EUCs is really that you can ride them in all weather conditions. W also stands for wobble. So if you are new to the electric unicycle world, or you have a high pressure, or you brake really intensely, the wheel can start wobbling. And wobbling is something that occurs in these instances. The wheel will start to go a bit to the sides, and if you can't control it, you will most likely fall off. If you can control it, then you'll need to just slow down and remain control of the wheel. W also stands for watts, which is the power of unicycles. Now, the unicycles have a nominal power, like for example the MSX has 2000 watts, but they also have a peak power. And the peak power, I think in the MSX is anywhere around 5,000 to 6,000. And in the Veteran Sherman it's a lot more, but the nominal power is just 2,500 watts. But the point is that this, even if it's just 500 watts nominal power difference, is much quicker than this. W stands also for watt hours, the most important unit for determining your battery size. For example, here it's 1600 watt hours, here it's 3200 watt hours. But actually, if you do the maths correctly, this is actually like under 3000 watt hours, but this is subject for another video. X, we have just X-shaped legs for holding your unicycle a bit tighter. If you have X-shaped legs, it will be easier for you to hold the EUC, and most likely if you want to just grab the EUC a bit tighter, you will look a bit X-shaped. X. Y stands for Y splitter. If you have just one port on your EUC, you can use a Y splitter to connect two chargers at the same time to provide you with a twice as fast charging speed. And finally, we're at Z. A very important thing about unicycles is that they are zero emission. So I hope that you liked this video. Once again, all the words are in the description. And if you're still here, leave a massive like on the video. It helps out the channel massively. Subscribe to see more content like this, and I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.